G'day everybody, my name is Lowell and welcome to the channel. So the other day we did a history of Wales and it mentioned that they have 100 castles. They had 600. There's 100 still standing. So we're going to do the top 10 Welsh castles. So let's jump in and let's have a look at this one, shall we?
Hello everyone and welcome. In this video I'm going to show you 10 of the most amazing castles that you can see in Wales.
Okay.
So Wales is a country with a rich and fascinating history, and fun fact, Wales actually has more castles per square mile than any other country in the world. So it was very hard to narrow down this list, but I think you'll agree that these are some of the most impressive. So let's get started.
Okay.
So beginning with one of my personal favourites, and that is Conwy Castle. This medieval fortress was built by King Edward I of England in the 13th century as part of his conquest of Wales.
So that's the other thing they did say, you know, the English king came over and obviously built these castles to, you know, to defeat the Welsh. So I don't know if the Welsh ever overtook the castles. I'm assuming they did. At some point, but man, pretty impressive. Okay.
The castle has famously been called one of the finest examples of military architecture in Europe, with its 8 iconic massive towers that you can climb each and every one of them, by the way, so obviously we had to do that when we visited. The castle overlooks the beautiful town of Conwy and the River Conwy and offers stunning views of the mountains of Snowdonia to the south as well. So I absolutely love this castle, and in fact this part of Wales is home to so many beautiful castles, including Beaumaris Castle.
Wow.
This is another masterpiece of King Edward I and it's located on the Isle of Anglesey. Now you may notice that this castle looks a little bit unusual, with the towers being no taller than the walls and everything being quite short and stumpy in general. And that's because this castle was never actually completed due to lack of funds as well as lack of...
I wonder, obviously, you know, in those days, obviously it would have cost a fortune to buy it, obviously the labourers and stuff, but it's very interesting. Running out of funds to build a castle, you almost got there. You just had that little bit to go, but man, impressive that it's still standing. Very nice.
And it was never attacked or besieged, so exploring this castle is a very unique opportunity to see a 13th century castle halfway through construction. So now on to the next castle, which is Harlech Castle.
Wow.
Now I'm not even going to bother telling you who built this one, but it rhymes with King Schmedward. And this one is located on a rocky cliff overlooking the Irish Sea. And it's most known...
Wow, look at the view. Obviously, you know, castles are meant to be built on the hill, you know, give it that advantage, but look at the view. Look at the view on there. Man, very impressive. I like it.
For its role in several wars and rebellions, including the War of the Roses, when it was defended by Lancastrian forces, and they held out for 7 years inside this castle against Yorkist attacks, which I think gives you an idea of just how formidable this castle was.
I just wish the walls could talk. Imagine the stories they would tell. You know, 7 years held up in this castle. You know, your enemy all around, can't get out. You're held up there. That's a long time. That's a long time to rely on those walls, and it looks like it's stood up fantastic as well. Dang.
Fun fact, the sea actually used to come all the way up to this castle, and this gate here was actually used to unload supplies from ships to take up to the castle. As you can see, that is definitely not the case anymore today.
Wow. That's a big difference in the sea level.
So this next castle is a little bit of a hidden gem, I think, located on a rocky hill overlooking the beautiful town of Llangollen in North Wales. So yeah, whilst exploring, we noticed some distant ruins. And we couldn't resist. So we started climbing the hill, which Ellie very much enjoyed doing. That was Majestic.
There's nothing worse than trying to climb a hill and it's like, oh yeah, that's fine, yeah, and you about halfway and you go, oh my god, this hill is so steep, what the hell? But imagine the views, man. Okay.
And the views got better and better as we climbed, and eventually we got to Castell Dinas Bran.
Wow, look at the view.
This castle's name means the Crow's Fortress, and legend has it that it was once home to Bran the Blessed, a mythical king who had a magic cauldron that could revive the dead.
Wow. Not much left of that one. Not much left of that one, but the position of it on top of that hill, amazing views. Amazing.
Okay, so one more castle in North Wales now before we head down to South Wales, and that is Criccieth Castle.
Oh.
This is a very small castle that has been captured by multiple people throughout its history. Most famously, Owain Glyndwr in 1404, who was the leader of the Welsh uprising to end English rule in Wales.
Good on you. I always wondered if castles were just kind of that raw stone or they had a bit of plaster or something like that. It kind of looks like it has it on these rocks here. I don't know if that's lichen maybe, or is that a bit of plaster? Don't know.
Okay, so down to South Wales now and down into the county of Carmarthenshire, and a bit of a unique one now because this is Larne Castle. It was a medieval castle that was later converted into a Tudor mansion. The castle's most famous resident was Dylan Thomas, the renowned Welsh poet who lived in a boathouse that you can actually still find near to the castle.
Dylan. Dylan. Dylan Thomas.
He lived here from 1949 to 1953 and wrote some of his best works there, such as Under Milk Wood and Do Not Go Gentle into That Good Night. So as well as visiting this castle, his boathouse is a must visit, especially to see the views of the estuary that inspired so much of his writings. Now just next door to Larne Castle is Llanstefan Castle, another slightly lesser known one. It stands on a hill above the village of Llanstefan and offers panoramic views of Carmarthen Bay and the Towy River. It's completely free to visit as well, so me and my granddad had a great time exploring around this one.
Not much left of that one either. It would be interesting to see what was in the middle. Obviously the turf and stuff probably wouldn't have been there. I'm assuming it would have been quite a busy place inside the castle walls.
Now, our next castle was once the seat of the powerful Welsh kingdom of Deheubarth.
Wow.
So this powerful Welsh realm ruled over most of South Wales in the 11th and 12th centuries, and this is Deheubarth Castle. The castle itself is relatively small, but it's worth mentioning it is surrounded by a deer park and an ancient woodland, and the views from the tower of this castle are absolutely mind-blowing.
It looks, obviously it is fairly small compared to the rest, but the walls look quite thick, well defended.
So before I get to the final castle of the video and my personal favourite castle of Wales, I must add, I just wanted to mention that if you are enjoying, please do feel free to leave a like and also leave a comment as well if you have any other castle suggestions that I haven't mentioned in this video, because with the massive amount of castles in Wales, I know I've missed a few good ones out. In fact, as a bonus honourable...
Jesus, Granddad, just take your time. Jeez, traversing those rocks, man.
Mention, how could I forget about Caerphilly Castle, which is located just 30 minutes north of Cardiff, Wales's beautiful capital city. This castle is just incredible, especially its surroundings. My highlight is the tower here that is somehow still standing, despite looking like it should have crumbled to the ground.
Wow, it looked like it should have fallen. Look at the big crack down the right-hand side there.
Long ago.
Yikes.
Haley, how did they build this castle?
I don't know. How?
Carefully.
You're horrible.
So yeah, there you go, a bonus mention before getting on to my final location of the video, and as I said, my personal favourite is Carreg Cennen Castle. It's an absolutely stunning castle that sits on a limestone crag above the River Cennen. It was built by a Welsh lord in the 13th century, and it was later captured by King Edward I, as well as having help from King Henry VIII. The castle's main attraction is its natural cave, which I actually had no idea about when I visited, but me and my granddad made sure to venture down into the dark, unlit cave. So that was a very fun adventure.
I can't see anything.
Mate, you always joke about castles having secret entrances and caves and stuff, but dang, okay, they actually had one.
Luckily, I
Okay.
got a torch. Hold on.
Oh my god, Granddad,
This cave
just watch
actually
yourself.
leads to a spring that was once used as a water source. So obviously it doesn't go anywhere, you do have to come back up, but it's actually much bigger than I expected. And the castle also offers breathtaking views of the surrounding Brecon Beacons countryside.
You can see for miles.
So that's it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed this tour of the 10 castles in Wales that are my personal favourites. Obviously there are many more, but please do subscribe if you did enjoy. Check out my other videos from Wales. We've been all over this beautiful country over the years and have quite a lot of videos on it. So yes, thank you everybody for watching. We'll see you in the next one, and goodbye.
That was very interesting. I love castles. I love history. I didn't know any of them. I need to definitely do some more Welsh castles. I know a few of the Scotland ones, obviously being Scottish, and obviously, you know, English ones as well. But Welsh has escaped me for some reason. So I definitely want to do some more. You know, they say there's 100 standing, and that's what, 10. So we've got a lot more to see. So that was very interesting. Very interesting. Nice to see some of them still standing. A lot of them obviously taken on by or built by English kings. But that's the, you know, the time, wasn't it? So, but I'm glad they're still standing. I'm glad we can actually see them as well too. So let me know what you thought of that. If you have a suggestion, let me know down in the comment section, guys. Thank you very much for joining me today. Make sure you stay safe, and I will definitely see you in the next reaction video. Oh, you're still here? You want more content? Why don't you check out my Patreon down here? You'll get plenty more content and some exclusive videos over there too. If not, why not check out this one over here?